on there.
Yeah, I don't know what we were saying. it's all easy and breezy, son.
It's not at the moment.
Well, no, it's not at the minute. Well, welcome to another episode of Never a Straight Answer, the podcast that aims to cover a wide range of topics from conspiracy theories to popular culture and news. I'm your host, Gaz, and joined remotely for the second week running. He's good for what else? He's Mr. Taylor.
Hello, everybody. Hello.
Hello, baby. Hello there, my baby, sweet babies. Welcome to the show. Welcome, new listeners and repeat offenders. Welcome again to another episode, and it's episode 80 of 80 episodes of Never a Straight Answer. Can you believe it?
Yes, I can.
Can you believe that we'd be doing it like remote, like via internet? I wouldn't have thought so. Do you know when we probably, personally, I would have thought, sat this, earlier on. If this had happened a year ago, it might have been a case of like, oh God, should we just sack it off for a bit? But it's one of them.
But then it might never go because as we should all understand this now that like things are going to change and probably change dramatically in certain aspects.
We're living in a changing world.
Yeah,
definitely. Material girl. I like it.
Material,
yeah. We've got an interesting show tonight. In fact, we're going to be talking about. Do you know what we're going to be talking about tonight, Mr. T?
Yes, and you know what? I would not go to this place.
I would.
It'd be probably one of the only places I would never go to.
Really?
Yeah. And I'll tell you the reason why when we get into it later on.
Well, this week we're going to be talking about the Skinwalker Ranch, known as spot
place
for paranormal happenings, alien encounters, amongst other things. We'll get into a bit later on. Firstly, what have you been up to during quarantine lockdown this week? Been doing anything interesting?
Listening to a bit of music, looking at a bit of lore, looking into a lot of what's been going on as well. But next week I'm going to be even more busier on it. I'm going to look even further into certain aspects.
Finding that you're getting into more of a routine now in terms of indoor life.
Joking, are you? I can't. I'm not eating properly at the minute. I'm skipping a meal every day.
Yeah, it's affecting people really dramatically in a lot of different ways.
Can't sleep. Can't wake up. I want to go to sleep now.
Well, I can't. I've been having trouble sleeping, to be honest. It's been one of them where I think. Or I want to go to sleep, so I'll get my head on the pillow, and then like about 20 minutes will go by, and I'm thinking, I want to get back up.
Yeah.
And then so it happened to me last night a couple of times. I woke up and then ended up, fell asleep and then woke up and couldn't get back off. So it's a lot going on in the world, isn't there? A lot of people's minds.
Lollipops as well, like fuck.
Lollipops.
And ice cream, like fuck. At least the last month. Proper
ice cream.
Yeah,
that's my aim. I'm going to come out of this apocalypse with a bit of chunk on me. I've been trying to keep busy, to be honest. I mean, like I've had a bit of a routine of. There's a few things. What was that? There's a few things that. Your phone.
Sorry.
A few things that I kind of have been trying to do every day and try and get a routine together. So just stuff like doing a kind of a bit of an exercise routine because. Obviously, you go out, you start seizing up and feeling a bit kind of achy, where you if you sit down and play Xbox or Netflix all day, you stand up and you're like, oh my God, my joints are all aching. I don't want to have to seize up and feel like I'm not getting a bit of exercise. People with pedometers will know. Dramatically dropped in their daily steps because you do so much just on your day-to-day that you take it for granted that just mooching around and doing your everyday stuff.
Yeah.
Well,
it's actually exercise.
It's quite a lot. Quite active in a lot of ways. So, been trying to do that. I've been doing my Diablo.
Yes, you got a new one as well, didn't you?
Got a new one on the way. Yeah, when Amazon gets it to me, because obviously Amazon deliveries are a bit slow, only essential items. Diablos don't fall under essential items, but I ordered a colouring book as well. It's the Stoner adult colouring book I want to get into, get deep into it and do some colouring in.
Go for it.
Been doing a lot of drawing and stuff as well. I
was going to say, you have been, haven't you? You've been doing a lot of drawing lately.
Bits and pieces.
Yeah. Keeping yourself busy.
Been watching a bit of TV. Watched a few box sets. Just done in Legion on Fox again.
See, I've done less TV, to be honest.
Time I've done that. It's really good series. Highly recommend.
Yeah.
So anything you've been doing? Well, I mean, what have you been doing? Not been watching TV. You've been playing the new Call of Duty, haven't you?
Not Warzone. Yeah, I've been playing that. I will not buy Call of Duty. I will not buy it.
What's it like? Because obviously I'm still
all right.
Struggling for.
Because it's got Battle Royale.
Headset. This one didn't work because the mic's broke. But it's one of them.
Well, I've been doing it. I've been playing a number of games and that, keeping myself entertained and my head rolling.
Keep your mind active. That's that's the point, isn't it? Because you've got to make sure that you don't go stir crazy. And it's easily said than done because we've got I live on my own, so it's like one of those where I don't really have anybody getting in my way, and not to say that family's getting your way, but sometimes they do, and especially in close quarters, you might start to get on each other's nerves a little bit. It's nice to get away from that and do something where it's just you in your own sort of space. And
you gotta have your own mind game.
Take a bit of time out to do something that's just kind of going to get you away for a few hours. So
In fact, Dr. Stephen Gray, I was watching a video he sent out the other day saying that, and he's an ER doctor. He used to be an ER doctor. Well, he was actually, I think he still practices every now and again.
You've still got to practice.
He's definitely doing it now. But he was saying the best thing for your immune system that they found out, and he actually did experiments on this.
Sprouts.
No, in a place with 200,000 people, they put 2,000 people in there, and they meditated.
All right, okay.
Meditated, and they changed the mood within the area, including crime went down. Crime went down quite a bit, in fact. There was a lot of effectiveness of it, was like bang. And apparently it's good for your immune system. We've done certain tests on it.
Everybody get Zen and do.
You got the time.
Do some meditation.
Just sleep doing that.
Get yourself, all fucking at one with nature.
At one with yourself and nature.
Of course. I highly recommend that. Yeah.
Hey, if it works, if it stops it coming near your town.
Or, it's something you can do that's just, quite peaceful,
And it'd be good for people as well to relax.
Yeah, maybe get into a bit of yoga. I've never tried yoga to that extent.
I haven't, to be honest.
Maybe if I might have a look into it and see if it's beneficial. If I do it a few times and I start feeling better for it, then it's my own judgment. I'm not taking anybody's opinion on board. I'm just kind of
give yourself a good time on it.
Exactly. So
like 6 months, not 6 days.
Other than that, the take home message is stay at home. At the moment, obviously staying at home saves lives and obviously helps out the NHS and obviously if you're living in the States,
unless you can go out and help people,
the medical community. If you're going out and you're actually being kind of useful. Then
knocking on the neighbours, old ladies that that live alone.
I've seen so many people just mooching around, and I've been to the shop occasionally, but you're allowed to go for items, so can't not have milk, can't not have certain things.
Need food, man.
Need chocolate, so you need certain bits. So but you go out and I kind of still seem to see quite a large amount of people on the streets. And I just think to myself, well, I don't know.
Getting more brave at the minute.
I don't know what they're up to. I don't know if they've got they're doing essential shit or the key workers or what, right? Yeah. But it does seem to be a lot more people on the streets, and it does seem that people are getting a bit complacent with it.
I got to agree.
Serious as thinking. But the government sort of guidelines on it are a bit kind of sketchy because saying, oh well, if you've had it and you've had it, then you can go back to work. Yeah, right.
Yeah, but you can't.
Then no, I know you can't, right? But the point being is, so people are thinking, well, I did feel a bit off, or I might have had symptoms, or I've stayed indoors and I've been indoors for 2 weeks and I've not shown any sign of symptoms. So am I okay? And then
how many days?
That's okay for him to go back out. So
how many days till you get the symptoms?
I think it's about 5 days after you start to show symptoms after being infected.
I've heard it's quite different, actually. It's supposed to have been, and everyone's been told it's 5 days before you actually start getting your symptoms. Now, there's a new record from the UN that's come out with 27 days.
Well, see,
I'm not too sure on it, but this is
very difficult to kind of work out
bullshit at the minute, yeah.
at the minute,
Because there's a lot of bullshit and there's a lot of truth hanging around.
You know, you've got to kind of take it from one organization and then hope that they're the ones who've got it right. The WHO, you know, seem to be giving out relevant daily updates. They kind of to be on it. And obviously the World Health Organization, they should be really. America's being advised totally different things to what we're being advised.
Because theirs jumped.
And then obviously, it's jumped dramatically. They've taken over in the leaderboard in terms of like what's going on in the leaderboard. It's crazy, isn't it? To think that. But they've jumped. America got to be the best at everything. Going.
Oh, yeah, you know what I mean?
Even pandemics.
That will kill more people than you will.
Well, they've got kind of a problem at the moment, but they've just been ordered everybody to wear masks going outside. These things, I think, where they are now, is it just not a little too late?
No, I think the reason why they're telling people to wear masks, it's a psychological thing. But hopefully it doesn't make people too complacent over it. But it has no real protection. It has a tiny bit of protection. That is it. The rest of it doesn't really work. And you've got to get the proper masks as well. And not only that, there's a company in China that's actually gone up 40% in shares over this. Yeah, they made the material for the masks.
There will be companies out there profiting off this because their products are in demand. So PPE, you know, I'm not saying that they've inflated the prices or anything, but sheer demand, equals profit. I'm not being funny, but if they sell a bajillion masks, then they're going to make money. I'm not.
Well,
they're not in the business not to sell a bajillion masks. They want to sell.
Yeah, of course they do, because they're going back to business now.
Yeah.
But if the viewers stay till the news, I've got a lot more on this.
Yeah, we've got a lot more to talk about on the current situation. Lots on this week. One thing I've just got to quickly say. Been playing online Scrabble, which has been interesting. Been playing a few people well in. Had some really good games. Been playing.
You said there a couple of losers you were playing, weren't they? And you didn't know. They didn't know what they were doing.
No, there was a couple of people who had some very good games with. But one person that's really kind of fucking done everybody out of business with, you know, his Corona lockdown project. I've got to give a big shout out to our kid, my little brother.
Right.
Because he's kind of like he likes building things. He's a creative tradesperson. Yeah, right. Does landscapes and all this. It's great stuff. Yeah. Check out his work. But obviously pubs are shut. Nothing to do. Yeah. So he's created his very own pub in his back garden. So he's converted his shed into
gotta be done, hasn't it?
Gotta be done. He's turned it into a pretty nifty little bar. And well done, mate. I'll you know.
Don't forget my invite.
No, when the grand opening happens, because he's just waiting for punters at the moment. But obviously, no one's allowed out, pubs and that. So, when that's opening, I'll be down there for a quick one. Yeah, nice one. Well, I just thought that was ingenuity and using your time wisely in my book. That's using your time wisely. So well done. But again, like I say, just stay at home. Do your rip. Yeah.
Bits and bobs that you need to do.
It's not might be a
missus off your back.
Yeah, but start that fucking book that you've been promising to read, or do that thing that you've just been putting. Yeah, there's plenty to do. Do you know what I mean?
They've sent out courses. What is it? Anno.com, I think it's called, and there's 1,000 courses, all different courses, all free, and like people can start it straight away as soon as you get on there. As long as you got a computer.
Skillshare or YouTube. Yeah. I mean, not sponsored, but you know, give out those types of.
Loads of places out there in a minute for that.
Yeah, there you go. Well, this week. Oh, well, good advice there. Nice one, brava.
Yeah.
Got a big fan He's a good listener, and we've covered one of his stories a while back, and he got in touch with us. Bit of a fucking head shake.
Yeah.
It's a thumbs up. In fact, give a round of applause for Brian.
Yes, Brian.
Back in touch with us. Thanks a lot, dude. And he's left us a couple of comments. He left us a couple of comments on YouTube.
Oh, yes. Oh, what's he said?
He just basically said, I want to get involved, man. I want to get involved again with the show because I just love what you guys do. And, you know, he says he normally listens to on iHeartRadio, but he's moved over to YouTube, especially now we've got our glorious faces, our radio faces. You know, he's moved over onto the YouTube platform to check us out. And he wanted to get involved with the segment, What's Fucked Up Where You're From?
What's fucked up where you're from?
So this week we'll go into the northeast of the United States for Brian, and all the way to Connecticut. Hey, I'm Kenneth.
Yeah, Kenneth.
Little cock boy. Well, look, this week, so this week on What's Fucked Up Where You're From, Connecticut. There you go. Connecticut's a pretty kind of fucked up name in its own right. Do you know what I mean?
Where's it come from? Do you know?
I didn't actually. One thing I didn't looking into this, but I think states have got mad like names. We're going into Utah later, and you know Utah spelled weird as well. You know, and just one of them. Utah. All right. Chicken. Well, back to Brian and Connecticut. I've been looking into it, and there's quite a lot of mad shit going on in Connecticut, I've got to admit. And there's a lot of, do you know when I look into these What's Fucked Up Where You're From segments?
Yeah.
There's always hauntings. There's always a lot of
spooky kind of world.
Paranormal.
Yeah.
Like paranormal in the sense that haunted manors, haunted hospitals, you know, and every time I look into it, there's always something that crops up in every area.
Yeah.
Their own paranormal investigation department. Yeah.
Oh, well, they got one as well.
This is what they all seem to have their own one in their own area. So this week, it's the CPI, and it's that stands for the Connecticut Paranormal Investigation. It's run by Mark Diagzo. I think I've said that correctly. He put it on his website to say, have you seen things that move on their own? Have you heard voices and don't know where they're from when you're alone? If you are experiencing things in your home or business that you can't explain, CPI can help. Reminds me of that Ghostbusters.
Or you're a psychopath.
Are you experiencing ghosts?
Weird sensations.
Spooks or spectres? Yeah. It's one of those, isn't it? It's like, are you wearing a gun holster? I've just noticed.
No. It's a back support thing.
Oh, bra.
Yeah.
Right, okay.
I got my bra on today.
Back strap.
Yeah.
It's got a lot of haunted buildings. So I think Mark at the CPI has probably got a lot of work. He's had some reviews as well. But haunted buildings in the Connecticut area one Fairfield Hills State Hospital, which is Newtown. It's 700 acres, and it was a mental hospital for the criminally insane. It was
bound to be a couple of nut jobs there, isn't it?
Opened in 1931 as an overflow, and then it basically closed in 1995. Since then, it's been used for a number of horror movies, because it's got kind of creepy underground tunnels and a harsh history. But it's definitely had some paranormal ghost sightings, and especially coupled that with the history of the place, it's pretty spooky. The Guntown Cemetery. This has been open. This is another haunted area in Connecticut. It's been open since 1790 and has been the setting for several plots during the Revolution. So people say that the cemetery are haunted, and claims a range of voices of small children laughing, a man leading a horse with a lantern, and electronic voices have been recorded by experts for many years. So there's been loads of different kind of
Activities.
recording, a lot of activity going on around the Guntown Cemetery. So there's another
area.
one. The Sterling Opera House, which is in Connecticut. At one point used to be a stage and an opera house as a functioning theatre. But in 1945, the building was transformed into a police substation, but then was abandoned. Researchers claimed to hear sounds, laughing, clapping. One thing I've got to say about the ghosts and spooks of Connecticut is they're all a happy bunch, because all the reports that we get are all laughing children and smiling and fucking, well, I don't know.
There's
smiling.
No headless horseman yet.
In the Guntown Cemetery, we got the voices of small children laughing and a man leading a horse. Whereas here we've got the sounds of children laughing, clapping. Here,
the man with a horse is a guider.
Guiding souls.
Guiding someone or souls to the destination. Yeah.
There's been in the opera house. There's been handprints found from small children. Right. And then later on, they vanished. Yeah. And some cases, figures have appeared in photographs, but no one's really sure what's actually haunting the opera house. So it's one of those where it's like sometimes you can look through history and think, oh, well, there was an event that happened here. But
then it could be absolutely nothing to do with it.
Yeah, you could just have a fucking... Well, this is what gets me into something we're going to be talking about later on, a hallowed ground. Because... You know, we talked about it in the London Underground episode 69, dude.
Yeah, dude.
And, we talked about kind of disturbing burial sites because all were disturbed when the underground was being built. And obviously people could go and look back on the history of a building and say, oh, well, you know, nothing dodgy's happened here. But, well, how do you know that something didn't happen on the land or something isn't buried on the land that you disturbed and there's unrest there? You don't know.
No, you never know, do you? Well, history, it's all different things that have happened through history.
Totally. Well, if history's actually history and we're not being fucking led up a garden path, and that is another episode in itself.
That is true.
Motherfucker.
Yeah.
Found lots of stories about alien abductions in Connecticut.
Okay.
Got one that basically dates back to 1982. Where this person claims to have been had a very traumatic experience, and where they were abducted, and then their parents thought they were crazy. They were afraid to sleep alone, and basically they felt like the whole experience messed them up. Basically, put it all down to an alien sort of abduction case. But that was something I found on a Connecticut message board. Trying to look into obviously a lot of different things that were going on in the area. I mean, one thing I didn't look into is urban legends. So if there's any urban legends, but we could probably come back to Connecticut another time and have a look at them as well. So, you know, there you go.
Yeah, it's never. We could always go back to the same places. Well, as another viewer.
If you've got a fucked up area where you've got some myths or urban legends or, you know, haunted houses,
bizarre stuff.
Yeah. Have you got a cult? Have you got what?
Have you got a cult? Yeah, the Illuminati's down the road.
You've got a cult in your. You've got cults knocking around your area. Then you call CPI. They'll sort you out. Mark will come in and sort you out. You can go on the website. You can contact us through the website at neverstraightanswer.co.uk. Email us at neverstraightanswer@gmail.com, or just hit us up at Twitter at NASA_never Twitter. You know all the rest. But that's it. That's what's fucked up where you're from this week. With Brian.
Go on, Brian.
Nice one, Brian. From Connecticut. Cheers, man, for getting involved. Absolute legend.
And we might be back in the area.
What?
Might be back in the area.
Nice to have you back in the
Might go back into the area. As in another one.
Oh yeah, maybe. Yeah, well, definitely. I mean, the thing is, it's
get
like
some info for the legends.
Been around the world and I just gotta go back to Connecticut. What?
There's a lot of places out there.
But we'll always, you know, there's a lot of viewers, listeners, listeners who might.
Viewers tell us we're coming out and check out.
Tell us where to go next, and we'll look into the strange, weird shit going on in your area. So there you have it. What's fucked up where you're from this week? So this week we're going to be looking into the similar stuff, really. Paranormal, weird goings on, high strangeness of a fucking highest order, yeah. And Skinwalker Ranch is up there as one of the biggest UFO hotspots, paranormal sort of happenings hotspots. I mean, the list is as long as fucking my arm, yeah. And you know, it's crazy to think that all this stuff is so concentrated in one small area.
Yeah,
and
this is the weird thing about it.
Makes it so special that this area is a hotbed for all this activity. Do you know what I mean? So, you know, Skinwalker Ranch, also known as the Sherman Ranch, is a property located around 488 acres southeast of Bollard, Utah. Skinwalker Ranch is reportedly to be the most paranormal hotspot around of all times. Number one.
It's gotta be realistically.
It's also had a number of UFO encounters as well as other alien-related activities. The first reports of shit going on there were back in 1996. Salt Lake City, Utah Desert News put out an article of UFO sightings, but apparently these UFO sightings have been going further back, way further. So
yeah, because down the town, 3 within 4 people have actually had experience there, and a lot of people don't like to talk about it either.
Oh, hang on, one sec. Well, you know, the thing is, it's so prolific in the area that if you lived in the local vicinity, you would probably see some mad stuff. Do you know what I mean? You probably would see something in the sky at least. I do believe we've got a feed to the ranch.
I do believe so. Yeah.
Is
it true?
Feed to the ranch,
or is it not?
We'll see.
Will we? Oh, what's this? Hey, this is the ranch right now.
Right, so that you can see the ranch. So I mean, there's, like you say, there's absolutely fuck all there. In other media, I mean, it was also covered in the alternative News Weekly Las Vegas Mercury newspaper. There was a series of articles by investigative journalist George Knapp, whose early stories on the ranch detailed the claims of a family that had been dealing with a number of alleged experiences out there. We got a change of view.
Oh, that's nice.
Over on the ranch. So
nice.
We'll come back to that in a minute. So they've been dealing with these experiences. The ranch is basically had so many things going on. This family have moved in, who were called the Shermans, hence the reason why it was also named the Sherman Ranch. It was Terry and Gwen Sherman who moved in. So obviously these stories started getting published about their experiences, and they were a range of frightening events after they purchased and moved in. What do you reckon to that? Because I mean, it was like nobody had lived there the best part of the 90s, and then all of a sudden this family's moved in, and a whole crazy manner of shit starts happening.
Well, I believe that it was vacated in 1987, and that no one really knows who owned it beforehand.
But nobody moved back in till like mid-90s, like 1994 or 95.
Yeah, 7 years later, it was abandoned for like 7 years, uninhabited and all that. But but the first few days, fuck me, first few days when they got in there, it was like the first day they met a wolf.
Yeah, well, like I was going to get to that because they had a whole sort of encounter, didn't they, where they were pursued by wolves, but then they later turn around and say that was it wolves or was it one of these skinwalkers? Do you know what I mean? Was it a skinwalker that was attacking them? Because they say that with skinwalkers, they're slightly off when they're animals. Do you know the animal form they take is a bit off? But we'll get into that because I've got a lot on this.
Same
One of the names that the ranch has been known as is obviously the UFO Ranch, due to all the 50-year chain of events, with over 100 incidents there.
Yeah, easily.
Sherman Ranch, due to the Sherman family living there. But then Skinwalker. So, Skinwalker's an interesting one. Why Skinwalker Ranch?
Well, they were taking the piss out of them, weren't they? Really, the neighbourhood was taking. Yeah, they were. They was actually. They weren't really believing in what everything they were saying. So it was like them nutters in the corner. Yeah, we've seen UFOs, but you're saying you're seeing other stuff as well.
Terry was actually saying, like, he kind of put it down to a couple of other different conspiracies, where not just conspiracies, he started trying to think about it logically. Yeah, because I think he didn't really want to have this sort of stigma attached to his family. He just bought a ranch, and then all of a sudden it's like, fucking hell, I've got fucking wolves chasing me and UFOs in the sky and paranormal happenings. It's way too much. I mean, usually you'd get maybe one of these things, or
well, he got dealed, didn't he? Really, he got stealed for the place first.
By with paranormal shit. It was like what?
It's when he signed them papers, though.
How much did he pay for it?
I can't remember, but it was a lot less than what the property was worth.
Well,
a lot less.
Well, I've got some figures on how much the property went for and sold for. A bit later on.
It's
interesting to find out about who had it. But why Skinwalker? I mean, Skinwalker comes from a sinister creature that comes from North American indigenous mythology, and also known in Navajo mythology. Skinwalkers are vile beasts that are known for their ability to transform into other animals wearing their skin, in essence. So obviously the name Skinwalker is kind of relevant to what's going on to them, I suppose. Starting as like a humanoid, right? Maybe a witch, maybe a warlock, but don't know what they are. Shape-shifting fucking lizard bitches.
Well, if you think about it, warlocks and that were people who knew how to put chemicals together and make something. They knew how to do technology. They were ahead of the game.
A scientist, an alchemist.
Yeah. Basically,
whoever they were able to transform. Now, there's a lot of kind of this in Navajo and in Indian sort of mythology anyway, isn't they? Transforming into animals and stuff like that. The Skinwalker is one of those ones that, it's such an old myth or kind of legend.
Mythology.
Urban legend, I suppose.
Because I wouldn't really call it a myth because it's not my not my place to say that.
Well, like I say, by all accounts, you can spot a Skinwalker by the way that it just doesn't look right. So if it transformed into another animal, it just wouldn't look
like that animal.
Yeah, it just look a bit off. And obviously the glowing eyes probably is a dead giveaway as well, to be fair. But according to an article in the Las Vegas Mercury, it's been said that a number of that members of the nearby Utah tribe, or the Ute tribe, have long considered the Utah Basin region of Utah as a forbidden place, and said it's toxic. It's got toxic bullshit going on around there. So
apparently they're not allowed.
Don't advise going around there.
Yeah, they're not allowed to. They're not allowed to set foot on there. None of them are allowed to. There's no authority for them allowed to.
There's a mountain where they're not allowed to go there either. Do you know, like, and they basically see this red cliff face, and it's I'm not going up there. And it's like sacred places.
It's the north part of the range.
Is it?
Yeah, it's the north part.
It's on, like, the east side of the range, isn't it?
I thought it was the north side.
Oh no, where the ranch is, because you were telling me about how this is kind of just on the border of this area.
Yeah, because it was just in, and basically they got told that this is sacred ground.
We'll just be glad that they didn't build it further into the middle. Do you know what I mean? If they were just on the edge.
But they were saying also that, like in the past, in cowboy era and times of further back, that it was a weird area. Tribes would go missing. People would go missing all the time. People would see stuff and that. So the band basically put that area as a no-goes area because we don't know what the fuck's going on there. And obviously it's carrying on to this day. So, like, there's something there that it gets investigated to a certain degree, but until the technology comes out that we can do a little bit more, we've got to deal with what we've got.
What's the weirdest thing that you've heard that's happened on the ranch, home on the range?
The thing that they feared the most.
What's that?
It's called blue meanie.
The blue meanie.
The blue meanie.
That's of fucking Yellow Submarine. That's what the Beatles were running from, the blue meanies.
Well, they might have been saying about this.
None of that. Go on.
Basically, it's there was two near the end of the time that they stayed there. There was two set of balls that they kept seeing. Now, the first one was a little red one,
like orbs.
Yes, like orbs. Yeah.
Kept seeing me swinging set of balls, swinging out from nowhere,
right balls.
Looking at me right in face. One did.
But they scared the cattle.
And they scared the cattle. Yeah. Yes.
The blue one. If you ever went near it, it so make you fearful that for some reason it would make you really scared. Absolutely scared. And that was the number one out of everything that went on.
A lot of crazy experiences. I mean, there was stuff happening like crop circles happening in the front lawn on a weekly basis. Obviously the Skinwalker beasts or wolves that they came into encounter with. But they also said that there was one point there was a 7-foot man who they said like a humanoid that appeared on the property and then basically disappeared.
That's where Bigfoot's come from.
What do you think? That's where Bigfoot? Because they're saying Bigfoot's connected to this because a 7-foot humanoid appeared. And the 7-foot humanoid could be any.
That's small for a Bigfoot.
Is it? There you go. He's a baby.
Think about it. Yeah, it's a baby. Yeah, that's why he was poking his head out, going, "Oh, what's going on?"
One thing that they say that it links to the Skinwalkers is the cattle mutilations, because there's been loads of reports. Now, obviously, you're a rancher. Yeah, you've got
14 head.
You know, you've got land because you've got fucking cattle. Do you know what I mean? And what was that? How many?
14 head of cattle, so it must be like the bulls that are dealing with the cows. They were, because this is what actually made them move. Was the main reason was because 14 of their head cattle had gone. They couldn't sleep. They couldn't. They had to sleep all in one room by the end of the time. By the end of the, and she lost her job in the bank in town, and that, that blue orb. Right, one of the last times they seen that blue orb, he was looking for his cattle basically.
Terry,
so as he
looking for his cattle,
and he had his 3 dogs.
Himself fucking thinking, what am I going to do? I've just lost my job at the bank.
Yeah.
Orbs flying around, making people fearful.
He's looking round and he sees this blue orb.
Yeah.
So it starts going, first time ever, it starts going towards him. So he sends his dogs out, his 3 dogs. So his 3 dogs chase him back into the wooded area, and then he's waiting there, and then all he hears is yout, 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 3 youts, and that was it.
Yout.
Hey up, yeah up.
It's the beast.
Yeah, the beast of Bognor Moor.
Go for
it. So he stayed there for a couple of more hours, and this is in the snow line. So he stayed there for a couple of more hours, and then he decided he'd go back home, wait till morning, and then go and try and find the dog. So he went out the next morning, went to the area. As he went to the area, all he saw was 3 puddles of meat, basically.
Puddles of cow?
Yeah. No, dogs.
Oh, God, he was dogs. Oh, I'd go sick. Oh, mate, I'd be like, well, right, well, this is the thing as well, because you don't know what's doing it. This is the thing. It's like you've just got to kind of be fearful that you've got your family there. Do you know what I mean? I mean, like say, like you were saying earlier, and we've mentioned the wolves, but like they said that they were surrounded. The wolves surrounded the property, and Terry even shot one of them repeatedly with a high-powered rifle. And
First day.
I
can't believe this.
What the fuck? A metal dog.
Well, his dad was stroking it beforehand.
Was he?
Yeah, because basically what they did was, last in the first day, they were unpacking everything, and then they seen this wolf, this big, massive wolf, and I mean, the Terry was 6 foot, and this wolf head went up to his shoulders.
Right. Okay.
So it was there, and it was passive.
Yeah. Well,
it was
so
really
it was
passive.
Being quite like fucking.
Yeah.
Chill.
So they're all there. Yeah. So the dad goes up to it, taps it on its head, strokes it, and the rest of the family decide, oh well, it must be a neighbour's dog or something, so we'll go over to it. Just as they're walking over to it, he brought some cattle. He brought four cattle, 4 cows, and a couple of young ones, a couple of young calves. Now they've been scared since they seen it, except for one calf. One calf thought it was a bit brave, so it was going closer. So at this time, this wolf jumped and grabbed this calf by its neck, because it put its neck out, grabbed it by its neck and held it. So
Terry, like a man review video.
Well, yeah.
It's like fucking he's off to destination. Fact.
Fucking you. So Terry went back to his wagon, got a club out, started clubbing it. Didn't do a fucking thing.
Like I say, fucking rifles not doing anything. Clubs not. But on first day, you go for the club first, wouldn't you?
He did the club first. Then he reached for his 357. He shot it 4 times. Didn't do fuck all. So the dad shouted for him to go and get his rifle.
Yeah.
When he got the rifle, shot the animal once. It bounced it back. But the animal was looking at him like he was going to either attack him. He was deciding if to attack him or,
he's just stand
there. Yeah. So then he shot again, and it teared a bit of the flesh off it this time. So it actually done some damage. So then it ran off. So they decided to follow it, because we can't have that animal running around the farm.
Yeah.
So they followed it. They followed it to for about 2-3 miles, I think it was. And then it comes to a muddy area where there was a lake. And just before the lake, the trail went dead. Right. There were no more tracks. So it was like it went out of nowhere. And there was no way. 40 meters either way was the only way he could have gone and set off another trail.
It would have been a bit of a trail there, at least.
Yeah. But that's all. That has happened to him as well with his cattle afterwards.
Right.
In the winter time.
Now
he followed the trail there.
He's been obviously gone out and told people that his cows have been mutilated, and the local community have just kind of seen him as a maybe a nutter or whatever. But to be fair, it's like when you've got fucking evidence and photographic evidence to back that up. Yeah, I mean, what more can you say? Talking about photographic evidence, let's go back to the ranch.
Yeah, I was just going to say then.
See what's cracking over there.
Well, did you know, actually, when they moved into the ranch, every door had deadlocks outside, the front, back doors and all that.
Hearing over at the ranch at the moment.
I can't see now. Is that a squirrel?
No. We'll keep it on.
Keep our eye out.
We'll see what happens. We might see it. Oh, did you see it?
See that? UFO, mate. UFO.
Oh, there we go.
UFO.
Terry actually speculated on a number of possible reasons why his ranch might have been such a hotbed for this type of madness going on. He speculated whether these creatures might not be a result of government experimentation or a black project or something that they were doing, and he's just coming into contact with the result. Do you know what I mean? Because he's trying to think outside the box and trying to think about ways that
you need to, don't you, on this kind of stuff.
What is going on? I've just spent a lot of money invested into a business. Oh, we're off.
Hey, what?
Something different going on over on ranch. Nope. Well, you fucking you've sharing the illusion, bro. It was an UFO, right?
UFO. I knew it.
Most people prefer the alien theory or ghost or even skinwalkers. The Sherman family did, by all accounts, have daily run-ins with all of these occurrences. Doorways in the sky would open up, like glowing light would emerge from them. They had the encounters with spaceships, voices coming from pretty much thin air. Obviously, crop circles, and like I say, a 7-foot figure appeared. Some basically sort of humanoid. So it's all a bit strange.
Well, yeah, it's true. I mean, like I was saying about the house was locked, the doors that had loads of deadlocks on the front. It also had deadlocks inside the house and the windows, and it also had chains in the back to hold big dogs.
Oh, big dogs!
Oh, big dogs! That's why they think it's the chains to the walls were
for
for
the dogs, or were they for the beasts, the monsters?
Well, that's that could twist it a bit. That if you think about it, could these have actually been dealing with, let's say, genetic engineering and fucking about and that?
Like government projects, would you not think that that might fall into it? I mean, Terry,
somewhere.
He thought that there could potentially be a link there, and he's put that theory out, but
I was very sketchy on it.
Most people want to believe that there's ghosts or paranormal happenings, or even Navajo myths of skinwalkers. The thing is that, I mean, like, there is a feed to the ranch. It's under constant surveillance, and people can view it. If you want to go over to Google Skinwalker Ranch live feed, you'll find it. It's not difficult. But the camera changes throughout the acres, and you can have a good nosy around, basically.
If you spot summit, send it us.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, the thing is with this, it's one of those where there's been that much interest in it, and over the years, that you can't help but think that there must be something to it. In terms of the media, there's been a movie based on events that's happened, just basically called Skinwalker Ranch. There was a movie by Jeremy Corbell, which was Hunt for the Skinwalkers.
Yes.
Highly recommend it.
Highly recommend it.
I think you can get that over on Vice, which is Vice documentary. I think it's listed in the documentaries you can watch over on there. And it's got some unseen rare footage from George Knapp in there as well.
Yeah, because he had to close all the cases. He weren't allowed to give information away in that. And this is the reason why I wouldn't go. He basically stated that the place doesn't like it. Some things set it off.
Should be left alone.
Well, the first thing, if there's a stranger entering the property, it tends to do something within that day. And apparently the amount of people who've been there and actually had an experience, left there, and an experience has followed them, is like, there's a lot of people apparently, according to James Knapp. He's got documentation, he's got loads of videos and stuff like that he's taken over the years, but he wasn't until now allowed to tell anyone or show anyone any of this detail.
Now, when they sold it back in 2006, the Sherman family, right? Yeah. Obviously, they'd had enough. They'd been driven out of the ranch, basically.
Well, it was 96.
1996.
Yeah.
Sorry, 1996. It was bought by a bit of a strange person, I thought, to be buying a notoriously paranormal fucking site. But it was purchased by Robert Bigelow, the billionaire, philanthropist, into his space stuff. I mean, I know, like, people say that he houses UFOs in his bases and things like that. But I mean, the guy purchased the ranch for $200,000 back in 1996, and ended up doing loads of paranormal research on it. There was loads of images I was finding of paranormal sort of research centers that he kind of temporarily pitched on the ranch, and he was doing stuff, and then decided that he'd had enough or done whatever research they'd needed to, and then sold it again back in 2016 for a cool $4.5 million.
That's a deal that I'd love to make. Yeah.
But, the new owner is apparently anonymous, and it's remaining like that. It probably is the government, but again, why such interest? Because the name Skinwalker Ranch now has been copyrighted as a trademark, a business name.
That's why it's 4 million now.
Yeah, exactly. But I mean, obviously, the involvement with Robert Bigelow and what's he done now. As far as
He's
you can
done a lot.
Looking on the stream, I mean, we'll just quickly go back to the stream.
He sent a bunch of scientists there for 10 years that actually done investigations over a lot of this stuff.
I mean, look at the place. It's fuck all there. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
It's like how
nice.
it's a nice place. Yeah, don't get me wrong. But I mean, what happened here to create such unrest, if you like? Because
whoever thought there's a meteorite underneath us.
Maybe some sort of radiation. But I mean, in terms of hallowed ground or hallowed land, do you think that there was something there that happened that potentially created this? Or is it like we were talking about portals and doorways to kind of other realms and other dimensions? Do you think that they could be just a kind of a magnetic hotspot where, you know, all these ley lines and convergences in magnetic shit, it's all pointing and hitting in this zone? I think they'd be able to. They think they probably have sussed that by now, though, because they're just
little aliens
converging. Everything's converging on this one spot. It's all fucking so Hollywood.
There's an invisible object there that moves cattle out of its way. That has been spotted.
Get out of the way.
Yeah, water prints that like something looks like it's standing in there and then moves. There's evidence on that. Small cloaked little aliens. Yeah, that's been seen a number of times. Like you said, portals. He's seen a lot of them, and what he noticed was when he looked through him.
To say doorways open up in the yeah.
It's the daylight sky, like the normal sky, and this is at night that he's spotting these stuff. That these little like portals are opening up, and then the little red balls that I was on about, like it would scare cattle.
Little red balls.
But then he'd go near it. Once he'd try and go near him, they'd scuttle off, basically. And he even had
really interesting
an encounter where he believed that it was a F-117 Nighthawk, which is the stealth attack plane, hovering, showing coloured lights on the ground, looking for something. And
they'd picked something up and they were tracking it.
Yeah.
And he's reported seeing that, but not seeing another object.
But the thing is, he lay down and he lay there for about half an hour watching this thing, and he was like, what's he doing? What's it looking for? But then he decided to move, and his bone, you know, like snapped a little bit because he'd been in a position for ages. And as soon as he did that, and you wouldn't have heard it unless you were about 6 feet away, and they were like 20 feet or something like that, 20 feet away, it stopped what he'd done, turned around, looked at him, faced him. He thought he was in for it.
And we were, all right, well, then shut off. Pew!
Yeah, then it turned back round and fucked off somewhere. And he was like, is he telling the truth, though?
Never stopped off for a coffee, did they, the little fuckers? Looking, mooching, and run off. Well, anyway.
Could he be making this kind of stuff up, though? That is a.
Would you make it up? I mean, it's
too many people have been there.
And plus, exactly what I was just about to say. It's not all the account. I mean, they just happen to live there, so obviously they've probably had more of a first-hand experience. The Shermans.
You're joking. Some of the stuff I've got listed down on what they had to do and stuff. It's fucking ridiculous. Like locking all the doors, living in one room by the night. Can't sleep at night. There was even noise coming from the ground, coming up like there was like some kind of tractors. And even at one point, because it started on the woman later on, she'd go shopping, come back, unempty the shopping bags, go into the next room, come back in. When she come back in, all the shopping was back in the shopping bag.
That's fucking annoying. If anything. That's just more annoying than anything else, because I'd be just like, oh, for fuck's sake. Stop.
She'd have a shower in the morning.
Yeah.
She'd have a set, like a hairbrush and a towel. She'd put it on the side, go and have a shower. When she got back out of the shower, they'd disappear. She wouldn't find them for ages. and then she find them in a just totally different area.
Isn't it? Because we've not really covered the paranormal stuff tonight, but I mean, like, there you go. I mean, it seems like it's not just the little green men that are running around stealing the hairbrush. I mean, do you think that? I mean, what's the paranormal connection then in that case? I mean, where do these sort of elements interconnect in terms of UFO sightings and skinwalkers and fucking ghosts? I mean, why
do you explain?
all of these things happen in such one vicinity? It's just so bizarre. But there's been accounts and sightings and so much stuff to suggest that this area for 100 years virtually. Do you know what I mean? Or at least 50 that we know of.
Oh yeah.
Well, there you go.
Terry went off his head at one point because he had a machine that helped plunger to make a fence. So it was a digger. Yeah. So at one point he went off his head because he was over doing a fence and it went missing. So he thought the kids or the missus had fucked about.
I've heard this actually. Yeah, I've heard this story. Go on.
So they couldn't find it. They went looking around, couldn't find it. So left it for a couple of days. Then they went down to the east side of the ranch and they found it in a tree 70 foot in the air in the tree, and it weighed 70 pounds.
So it's like none of the kids could have done that.
Even the wife could have done that.
How can you even explain that? It's just like, for fuck's sake.
Fucking bizarre, mate.
No, I mean, in conclusion, what do you think's going on over at Skinwalker?
I don't know, because there's so many different angles to it. Because, like you were saying, like we were on UFOs, we're doing certain things, and some of them have got certain techniques of scaring people when it comes near you, like the blue one, or the red ones that won't come near you, want you to chase it, or like crop circles. Why would you want to put crop circles there unless it just gives. And like days before they were leaving as well, they were seen on the land, animals, Bigfoot. They saw a big dog that was like scary big thing. They'd seen loads of UFOs.
It sounds like those fucking terror dogs or whatever from Ghostbusters.
Every autumn, UFOs were there, and towards the end, all the time.
The return of Gozer imminent. Telling you. Well, there you go. I mean, it's an interesting topic, Skinwalker Ranch. I mean, if you've got any sort of fucking theories on it, or you've got a kind of a point that we didn't make, get in touch. NeverastraightAnswer.co.uk. Go on.
This was what was getting them the most. That after they was hearing noise and stuff like that happening, at the windows, a black shadow would watch you every now and again.
Ooh.
And then all the time, and then whatever the spirit was standing at the end of the beds and doing stuff like that.
It's a bit of sleep paralysis.
Yeah. I thought that. I thought that a bit as well.
So maybe they've got shadow people as well as all this other nonsense. You know what I mean? They've got everything else.
The shadow people.
What? Yeah, it does actually. Maybe walkers.
Yeah.
What knows what? Yeah. Well, there you go. I mean, I think it's a fascinating topic. I think we talk about it in more detail if we have a bit of time. We might do a return to Skinwalker one day.
It's not
any points on it, or if you anything that we've missed, let us know in the comments or drop us an email.
I'd go there.
There's a few places that I go like in a heartbeat just to feel the vibe and feel. Okay. I want to kind of check out. I'd definitely check out Skinwalker. Now you might think this is a bit morbid, but do you know the Chinese forest, suicide forest? Apparently, people get a real fucking weird
for a suicide there.
And it's like a hot spot. People just fucking go in there, and it's a real problem. Yeah, I'll send you some links on it. It's not fucking nice, but to kind of feel that sort of vibe from the place. You know what I mean? You get that if you ever do urban exploring and you go into a building that's just been abandoned or even in a building that's not been abandoned, but you're the only person there, you feel weird. You feel like there's too much space around you.
Sonic radiation around
it's
you.
strange. There's
Sound
something going on, whereas it as well. If you're told that a place has certain vibes, are you psychologically gonna sort of pick up on that, or is that gonna enhance your physical sort of fucking feeling and emotion? It's a strange. That's why I kind of feel like I'd visit these places just to feel if it's all bullshit, or if I'm going to get some strange energy from visiting Area 51, or, time skips or whatever. It's interesting. I would like to kind of experience it, but I mean, it could be a case of you walk into Skinwalker Ranch and think, that's enough. Can't handle that. I want to go on. Do you know what I mean? So
Well, I would want to bring whatever it was in there with me, because it's a bit like Entity.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
We were talking about, there was something that I heard recently about a haunted tree, and he said it was like a portal to another dimension sort of thing, and that basically if people kind of were going up to it, and it you'd feel cursed, and like everything in your life would just crumble for visiting this tree. I can't remember where I got that from, but
a lot of portals like that though, like even in rocks, especially in like Africa, you've got places there that you've got rocks over the history.
Stonehenge, you've got stone circles, 9 ladies in Buxton, you've got so many like stone circles.
Different marks. We still don't understand what we're standing on, you know what I mean, or what people mark.
Talking about hallowed ground, and why you really messing about too much is could open up doorways to things we don't yet understand. And on that note, we'll call that a day. And that's pretty good topic, I think. Going forward, we've got some news.
We have
that in a moment. Hey, do you know what? We'll do it now. It's the news. And in this week's news, we scoured the internet for a whole period of time. It wasn't long. And we found the best news.
I've been doing all week.
Have you? Well, I've got bits of news. I've got more NASA news than normal news. But obviously, going into the news, you can't help it, because every fucking news story out there is corona related. So
I've got a few that ain't, but very
few. In terms of trying to find news stories that aren't, it's slim pickings, guys. Slim pickings. So, do our best to keep you entertained in the news today. But we will go into a bit of corona first, get it out of the way. So the corona updates, as far as I can see, is what the fuck is going on? It's here in the UK, we're opening all these convention centre hospitals, Nightingale hospitals, with capacities of over 1,000. It's quite scary to think that that's what they're gearing up towards.
Yeah, because we're not even really. It's not really hit us yet. It's starting to hit us.
I know, but this is the thing, and this is why it's important for people to stay home and not kind of interact and kind of try and cut that number down.
This way.
I mean, you might think I'm only one person, but, one person has an impact, and then that other one person goes out and that spreads. So, you're
relying on other people all the time when you go out there. They're not running you over, or they're not going to clatter you, or they're not going to do this and that.
Amazing feat, and you've got to put your hand. In fact, I'll give them a round of applause, because do you know what? Like, it's an amazing feat to pull something like that together, like in the short space of time.
Yeah.
They've done it, and I mean, like, that's a lot of tradesmen, painters, decorators, fucking electricians, medical staff, everybody's just gone, right, we need to sort this out. I'm so kind of amazed by it, but on the flip side, it's worrying to see that they think that these types of measures are going to be necessary in the coming months. You know what I mean? And it's like they're not even. I was watching a news report about it was a surgeon or a medical guy. He was basically a doctor, I suppose, and he was basically saying, "Well, we've hit kind of capacity, and we've taken other wards over because we have the space, but we're kind of teetering at the moment, but it's manageable." when it gets to this
to
point
the proper number, then we're going to have problems.
Exactly, yeah. And I mean, I've spoken to people who work in the medical industry who were kind of estimating that it's going to be looking into the 25,000, 30,000 by the end of it. It's fucking horrible to think that like the entire older generation could be fucking gone.
Massively affected.
A big portion. And, it's sad. So
44% they've got chance.
Fuck me. So everybody needs to kind of pull together.
Everyone do it. 12, I think it's.
But take it seriously. I don't want to preach, but stay in. Hey,
stay in and do a bit of cooking or.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's what I've been doing. I mean, one thing that I've got to say is a blessing is I've had so much more time to plan my meals and cook something nice for myself. When I was working, I'm constantly like in and out, can't fucking have 10 minutes. You wanna have something else. Oh yeah. Shout out to everybody who's been furloughed this week. Hey,
yes.
Nice to see you. I'm in the boat. I'm just joined you on the boat.
Joined the crew.
Joined you in the pasture. There you go.
I ain't got no job.
There you go. It's fucking full-time podcasters over here. So Patreon, get over to Patreon and help us out because we're full-time podcasters now and we don't day jobs. People younger than expected are being admitted to hospital at the moment, which is a bit
13-year-old died over here.
He was a 13-year-old.
I think he's been put as the youngest.
Oh, did they have underlying health conditions or?
No.
No, fucking hell. And I know there was a 21-year-old girl. And then obviously, based on a report I was watching the other day, they were saying about how the age category in this hospital at the moment, the one I was just talking about reaching capacity, their age group is between 35 to 55 in terms of the age that are going in. So it's like,
it seems to be between 40 and 60s that is the it's the second line in it basically of you going to get attacked. So the older people, there's going to be more than likely their chances are slim, but our chances are second slimmest.
Well, numbers have rocketed up over the past week. With Spain with a daily 1,000 a day virtually. UK and US have been creeping up as well. Russia, which everybody seemed to think that there was nothing going on, and why is Russia not getting any cases? Well, that's total bullshit. I think they've basically just been kind of hiding from the media. Putin's now been reported to have caught the virus on a visit to a hospital. All started off with a handshake, and this was the day before. No, it was literally it was a doctor who'd been in contact with corona patients, right?
So did it on purpose? I'm going to get the president.
Working on the front line, this Russian doctor, and then Putin visited the hospital, and he basically shook hands with him, and then 2 days later, the doctor was diagnosed with corona. Yeah, so to say that Putin's not got it is probably bullshit. I think he's definitely got it. But there's been a lot of fake news on the Russian TV because it is going up. The numbers are going up in Russia, but fake news and kind of misinformation on the Russian media outlets that it's comical. This one guy's come out and said that the USA had put a patent out on the virus a month before the outbreak. Yeah. It's like, we're going to kill everyone. Let's put a patent on it and sign our name.
Bit dodgy, that, isn't it?
Don't think that's the case. But he's basically saying that, enough people have bought it, so it surely needs investigating. And fair point, because I think that if enough people do get on board with something and they kind of believe it, then investigate it. But obviously their investigation is going to come up with nothing. Yeah. Now, we were talking earlier about how this is like historic. It's one of those things that, everyone's going to be talking about. But it's a conspiracy now, where everybody thinks that
it's not a conspiracy theory. It's a conspiracy now.
It's a conspiracy. It's still a conspiracy theory. Everyone's got their own conspiracy theories around it.
Well, not according to Italy.
Yeah, but they're blaming full on China.
War damages.
Yeah, they're asking for
going in for claims. Yeah,
there's blame. There's a claim.
Yeah.
Claiming no win, no fee for China. It's like fucking hell. Those bills are gonna rack up.
It could set another war this off.
It really could, but what I'm getting at is it's like this when it's a conspiracy, you know, it's there's been so many already cropping up about COVID-19, so you know it's one of them. But what you're saying then?
Well,
what was saying then
about Italy?
Yeah. I mean, Italy's asked for war money.
War damages. They're looking to claim for war damages from China.
Because, I mean, they've reopened that wet market now, haven't they? And it's like, well, you're basically fucking stacking. I was talking to our kid about it last night. He was like, you know, they're stacking fucking ferrets on top of fucking iguanas, on top of chickens, on top of snakes, on top of bats.
To be served to people.
Now, I won't eat any fish. It's just if I went to a UK market and I was like, oh, there's meat on the fucking stalls or whatever, yeah. Now, they probably loaded it in. It's been prepared. It's in an open air environment. It's like it's a wet product. It can be easily contaminated. I'm not being fussy, but I'd prefer to go get my meat from a butcher's market. Yeah, I'm being fussy, right? So even in a UK market, that's kind of a bit off-putting, right? So to go to like Wuhan and see all this meat.
That's what it used to.
Yeah, I know that's what they used to, but they need to change stricter regulations on food hygiene globally because we can't keep doing this shit. They need to shut this shit down today because the thing is...
You really think that's going to happen?
Well, it's going to end up happening again because it's like we'll end up with something even fucking harder to kill next time and we can't kill this.
Well, they'll be sat up in their fucking palaces going, oh, well, we're all right. We'll just get rid of the minions, the people we don't care, the people
They need the minions. This is the thing. It's like
they only need a set of millions because they've got computers now.
Well, the thing is, I know, but computers can't produce them fucking global. You know, the thing is, right? When I go to work, we've talked about being trapped in a system, right? Now, we're modern day slaves to the system because we can't. If we don't play ball with the government schemes and say we don't go out there and work and earn money to pay tax, then we're out on the streets and we can't have anything nice and all the rest of it. So it's rather play ball, earn your wage, we'll take a portion of it and you deal with it, or you don't play by our rules and you're fucked. Yeah, right? Now, again, it's a similar situation. It's like they put you in. It's like, you know, you can't not do...
The rules ain't the problem. It's the players in the game.
So, you know.
That's the problem. The players in the game, the play's been rigged. It needs to be reset again.
A human can earn money to pay tax and, you know, contribute to the economy, whereas a robot can't. A robot's an automated piece of shit, yeah, that you just throw in to do a job.
Well, you don't have to worry about tax, insurance.
Hire a guy to do it, yeah, right? Yeah. Somewhere down the line, you still need human interaction because, well, you can't have a fully automated world and then expect to be like making money off it.
Yeah, but if you're the one who's giving water,
there's no economy.
If you're the one who's giving water in the desert, the people will come.
Oh, cool, yeah.
So if there's no other food, everything's contaminated. And the only clean food is being made in the labs in the places where they want you to work.
Tomatoes as big as your head.
That's it. Yeah, that's it.
Get them while they're
control. It's fear the people. Get people fear. And we were talking about families before. Remember what you were saying about the families before and what separation and stuff.
Oh yeah, man. It was like in terms of like, you know, the plan for a one world government.
Yeah.
And you know, if you want to look at this as an Illuminati conspiracy, yeah. Which it is kind of stacking up to be in a lot of ways, yeah. Right? I'm not saying that I subscribe to that.
Well, it's not necessarily.
It's like when you look at it and think, well, one of their key things was, you know, segregation of people. They want you to abandon the family sort of principle.
The last 10 years have been hitting the families to separate.
You know, they basically say, you know, your family's your friends, and you know, people. The modern family's made up of friends, not family, and
break up the communication.
Now, all of a sudden, we're being told, don't go out and see your family. You know, and it's like, well, and in a time when people want to be with the families, people don't want to have to kind of visit, like, or not not be able to visit loved ones if they're in a critical condition, and have to kind of see them over Skype, or say
I wanted to see my gran, see how she was, but like I can't even do that because if I've got it and I pass it on to her, then like I'm going to be guilty. I'm going to feel guilty.
It's like people who are getting isolated in hospitals because they're on critical. They're going in, and that's the last people they'll see is the doctors. They don't get to say goodbye. You don't get to say goodbye to them, and it's sad. It's one of those things where we can't really do anything about it. And in the timeline of things, you hear a lot of
reports
about this going to be around for the next year, or is it
a couple of more years to
be like fucking the last remaining elements of humanity clinging on to or the people who are just immune? And how many is that? What's the percentage in terms of like immunity? No one knows that yet. No one's been able to, because in terms
did work against AIDS though.
Well, what about like in all these sort of movies that you see, they always try and find the one person who's immune because they might have the antibodies that will help.
That could actually help,
cure. So why aren't they trying to find immune people who are super immune to it?
Because that kind of stuff isn't working as well as it used to be. Not that long ago, they've just come out with that there's a new genetic way of trying to do it. Right. So they're doing it a different way now as well. So it might work fast for us, but then again, if they're messing with genetics, it might change something else, basically, isn't it? Well, we're still messing with fucking things we don't understand that much.
Well, I've got this news story that I found on Sky News website. It's about coronavirus. Basically, coronavirus. Police raid closed Liverpool comedy club after live stream mix-up. So, a hot water comedy club has told Sky News that police turned up after somebody wrongly reported a live show was taking place.
Oh, shame.
Yeah, they got reports of a live stream had gone out from the club.
Yeah.
So the comedy club in Liverpool was closed due to coronavirus pandemic, was raided by the police over the weekend after a recorded show that it streamed on Facebook had been mistaken for a live event. The Hot Water Comedy Club had told Sky News that around 20 officers turned up at the venue on Saturday night after someone thought the show from the 7th of March, featuring a packed audience, was happening that evening. Shows you how serious they're taking it, though. Are they going to send SWAT to fucking raid a comedy club because there's 20 people in there? Whoa!
Mad. It's absolutely mad.
Turn that light out.
Crazy shit, man.
Have you got?
It needs to be done.
Any stories you want to talk about? The world we're living in.
The world we're living in, yeah, it's fucking crazy. Well, there's this thing going around in a minute in there on
virus. I don't know if you've heard about it.
No, I haven't heard a thing.
Call. It's been under the radar, if you ask me. Go on.
I've been in a coma for 10 years.
What a time out of a coma?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Put me back in. Wake me up when it's over.
Yeah, it's just begun. There's a thing been going round, and YouTube have been trying to take it off as soon as it gets put on. I only seen this once, and you've seen it. I know you've seen it.
Oh God!
This Vodafone manager or CEO or whoever he is.
Alleged Vodafone ex-CEO is in this recording. You sent it over this video, and it was basically saying how there's a link between what's going on and 5G rollout, and how the worst affected countries are countries that have big 5G networks. They were saying how Russia is less affected because they've yet to roll out 5G. And they were basically saying that obviously it takes around 6 months for it to kind of start affecting humans.
Yeah.
But, the gist that I got from the video was basically saying that your body is now being bombarded by a load of rays and sort of frequencies that it's not used to. So it creates a toxicity in your blood and in your body. So your body wants to reject that. So it's how that's rejected it, and the antibodies in your body have fought off this radiation, but it's come out as this virus, basically. This is what they're saying. I mean, this is what this guy alleged CEO of Vodafone was saying. But then he was saying about kind of similarities from different rollouts of different radio technologies and radar throughout.
Yeah, there's been three
apparently coincide with big plague epidemics and Spanish flus and whatnot. I mean, it's one of those conspiracy theories, and this will go down in history as one of those conspiracy theories that'll be so many, like 9/11 or two-shot JFK. It'll be debated for fucking ever now, because nobody will have a definitive answer. And if you did have a definitive answer, somebody will say, nah, that's not the case, and refute it.
Yeah.
There'll always be an argument from now on. Even if you had the right answer, there'd be somebody who would argue that against you. Do you know what I mean?
There was another thing that come out today. Did you see that nurse one I sent you?
No, I didn't manage to watch it yet, but I was planning on it. It's on my list.
It was pretty interesting, actually, because she was, I believe she was told that people have been told that it's a couple hours that it lives on surfaces. She's got told
she
5.
Was a lot longer than that.
Yeah. The effectiveness of the sun will kill any viruses or the disease from 80 degrees upwards.
I think everyone's kind of banking that there's going to be this hot weather's going to kill it off, but it's already been shown that
it doesn't work.
Like Iran and Spain and Italy, where the weather's quite nice, the closer to the equator, they've got a nicer temperature and it's thriving. I'm not 100% convinced that this nice weather theory is going to pan out.
By the way it's looking, no?
Fingers crossed. That
we really can't see it.
Oh well, nice for us, and we all get to go on our summer holidays. But to be fair, it's like I think it's going to be one of those grounded over the summer holidays and not even able to watch other kids play out on the street while you're sitting in your bedroom going, "What did I do? I'm sorry, Mum."
Bring the authorities because them kids should be playing out on the street.
Oh, kids. That's I just feel sorry for the kids because they don't understand I can't.
Whoa. Hold on. Imagine back in our time, because we hadn't had computers. We'd only have 4 channels to fucking watch.
Fucking hell, yeah. Imagine
4 channels.
Oh, it'd be bored.
Imagine that.
It would be all around playing a board game.
Exactly. At least they've got somewhere to sit down and I'm going to play this all day. I'm happy doing this all day.
Well, whoa. We had a Mega Drive. We could have played computer games. I had a Spectrum ZX.
Yeah, but you had one telly, didn't you? So it was about, can I play it and use read a book?
We're posh. We had our telly and
you were posh, were you?
Yeah. We had a black and white one with a dial, right?
Yeah, I had that one.
This is one for the kids, right? I had a black and white TV with a dial, and you'd get comfortable, and all of a sudden the dial would slip slightly.
Yeah.
Tune, and you go, oh, for fuck's sake, I have to get up, and you'd end up sticking a blob of blue tack on the telly.
Forget that.
Oh, do you remember top loading VHS record?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Stack a load of other videos on top because
so it doesn't come up.
The spring go. Technology, eh? See, look where we are. We're in the future, living in the future where the bad shit happens.
Hey, hold on. Where's my butler?
In
the future, you get your butler. You get the home cleaned by a machine.
You said you didn't want all that. I'm fucking the robot uprising.
Yeah, fuck them.
I've got this story here. It's off topic slightly with Corona bullshit. But Trump's former doctor, was hiding vegetables in his food to help him lose weight and keep healthy. Apparently, so Dr. Ronnie Jackson's goals was to help the president lose 15 pounds and introduce exercise machines to the White House. So, the guy was, obviously out of shape, but it just reminded me one of those stories because obviously when he invites people over, like dignitaries, he just gets loads of Mackie D's in, doesn't he? And
apparently every day he likes a Mackie D, a Mac burger and a milkshake.
So basically, it's just like one of those kind of spoiled kids who's like, how can we get him to eat vegetables? Can we hide him in his burgers?
See,
be like Elvis.
They're probably missing a trick there. The easiest way to get rid of him. Yeah, have another burger. Yeah, go and have another burger. Go and have another burger. It's unhealthy for you, but have it.
Well, apparently Donald Trump's former physician has revealed that he used to put cauliflower in the president's mashed potato in failed efforts to help him lose weight. What the fuck? If my doctor came round and went, I'm just going to key your tea.
Sacked. You're sacked.
I'll be like, wait.
Yeah, why have you my chef as well?
Why do you want to cook me my mashed potato? I'd be like, get the fucking FBI, get the Secret Service in here. Now I want them to taste my mash. Go, nah, it just doesn't taste right. It's like, it's just got cauliflower in it, I swear. It's like, fucking, he's trying to kill him.
Yeah.
Trying to kill the president. There you go. Well, hiding vegetables in the president's food to make him eat his veg. I thought that was cute. Bless him. What?
Eat his veg. He needs to stay strong, especially now he's got corona.
I know. Why's he got it as well?
I should imagine by now he would have.
At the minute.
Everyone eventually get it, especially like if you're shaking hands or even doing the fucking
doing the old touch.
Yeah. Even if you say that, he's found it.
I've got a story for you. You'll like this one. Nibiru's back in the news.
It never went away.
It did. It went
stalking us.
It spiraled round the western spiral arm of the galaxy, and now it's swung back around to see us. Nibiru is back. And it's only due to the coronavirus panic that it's resurged as the Nibiru Doomsday Planet.
But it caused it, didn't it?
Come back. What?
But it caused it as well.
Probably. Nibiru is the wayward Planet X has made a comeback in conspiracy theories online, drawing connections between the hoax planet, Wormwood, and the COVID-19 pandemic. So. Nibiru was once believed to be the end of the world, with doomsday preachers hailing it as the arrival of...
So this way, don't worry.
Numerous occasions in 2012, 2017, 2018 and 2019, although the world's leading astronomers have debunked Nibiru's story many times in the past, the wayward planet has made a comeback on social media thanks to Corona.
But there's still something out there which they cannot find yet.
Well, it's funny that one thing with the Planet X thing is when they started going, we got two suns, and I was like, where? Why would we have two suns? And then
82% of the universal
binary system. Yeah, we're a binary star system. Yeah. I've got two suns. You're right. And we can't see the other sun because it's literally behind the sun.
Dark sun, it's far out.
Far away, but it is there. Yeah. And so, it amazes me that we were never taught this stuff as kind of solar system education. Do you know what I mean? In school. So the fact that there could be another planet out there that Nibiru or Planet X or Planet 10 or whatever. It's interesting to think.
It's not a planet. It's a mini planet. It's a mini solar system, basically.
Well, yeah, it is.
It's about 5 planets there.
It's about this. So, like, basically, we're on a elliptical orbit, right, around the sun, right? But then all of a sudden, there's another. So basically, all the planets are spinning around this microphone in harmony. The microphone's the sun. Everything's going like clockwork. But there's a bigger spiral happening here on a different gravitational.
Well, it comes in and out.
As those are happening, it happens like that. So this one is in terms of like a year rotation. You go around the sun once a year, but this one goes round and it's out of the way for fucking thousands of years, comes back and swoops
30
down
to 100
back in. Now there's already speculation that there was a planet between Earth and Mars, is it?
There was,
potentially could have been destroyed, or the fact that the moon is a different sort of shouldn't be there. Is this the remnants of this broken up planet that has just
history reckons we caught
it caught in our orbit? Now what would have caused that sort of destruction? Those types of craters that we see on the moon and on other planets. You've got to ask these questions, that there could be something out there, and it makes sense that something could be back spinning round, coming back into our zone, if you like. So it's not the science that back it up, but it's quite interesting stuff. I mean, if you want to listen, you can go back to episode 10.
Yes.
X Planet 10.
X. X is the word.
Yeah, I think it's called
or the number.
X-Files, X-Men, Planet X, God knows, I can't remember. We used to name things a bit randomly back in the day when we first started.
We were lunatics back then.
Got a couple of NASA news stories. Nicely leading on from the Nibiru story. NASA's bringing back the worm logo. Do you know the NASA with the kind of the red way where it's a bit kind of wibbly wobbly?
Yeah, why?
Well, just as a change, I think. I think it was quite a cool logo, to be honest.
The change, there's got to be a reason behind it.
What do you mean?
There's got to be a reason behind the change. Why would they want to change it?
No, I don't know. I think it's just a design choice, I think, isn't it?
But it's going to cost millions that they're not going to be able to afford. Yeah. So put everything on your logo, reset all your logos, and that will cost a fortune.
Not necessarily. I mean, I quite like that logo, to be honest. The worm logo. It's quite 80s. I think it looks quite cool.
Dull, I think. What? I think it's quite dull.
You think it looks dull?
Yeah.
Well. No, I think it looks pretty cool. Let us know what your thoughts are. Do you prefer the original? Well, what's it at the moment? It's just the what sort of logo have we got rocking at NASA at the minute?
Oh, the normal one with the V. With the
thingy
stars in the background.
Yeah, that's right. With the that's actually got some hidden meaning as well, hasn't it?
Yeah, because every single space.
Got it. Yeah, it's the vector. It's called, and that vector appears in every space agency's logo for some reason. So it'd be interesting to find out a bit more about what that's about. To be fair. One last news story from NASA. Moon bases.
Moon base.
Experts spot 2 new alien moon bases on Mars using, but they're not on the moon. They're on Mars. Using Google Mars Earth. Google Earth Mars. Even.
Google what?
Well, whilst exploring Google online maps, a so-called UFO expert claimed to have spotted 2 structures on the red planet. According to the expert, the structures could be bases that were built by alien civilizations that lived on Mars.
Or us
from the future.
There's always that possibility.
Or like Battlestar Galactica, where we went back, or even Hitchhiker's Guide, where we went back to the dawn of creation and we were our own seeds, if you like. We find a way in the future to travel back to the past and jumpstart human evolution. There you go.
You can't. That couldn't work.
Why wouldn't it?
Because because if you were the ones who started up the human civilization,
an alien species coming to Earth and seeding the alien, mating with primitive Earthlings, right? So why wouldn't that work?
Nephilim.
Basically, we find time travel. We go back in time to those days when we're like fucking seen as gods because we've just appeared out of nowhere with mad technology that they can't explain. Then we seed with those humans, right? And that's where the aliens all along. Like we've talked about with UFOs.
So we seed ourselves.
Yeah.
I can't see
that with Area 51 and how if time travel was a case that we went in the future, we built a ship that was capable of time travel and we went to these locations because we always see UFO encounters around historical events. Is it just a case of like the fucking magic school bus? We're having a mooch around and seeing all these historical events firsthand. But in the timeline of things, they did shoot down a UFO, but we always had to be shot down, and it was us from the future. But we've done this. We've talked about it. You look like you're wearing a fez, by the way.
Fez. Oh no.
Fezzes are cool.
No, I'm feeling like a 10-year-old boy. Wearing my cap backwards.
The claims around this base are made by Scott Waring of the UFO centered blog ET Database. So, there you go. He's reckoning there's some bases on Mars. So if you want to get on, you can check them out because you can go over to Google and have a look yourself. I'm not going to, but you can. There you go. And that's it.
I've got one for, you know, that, well, I was talking about Jupiter last week. How the brightness and that. It's not Jupiter. I've now found out what it is. It is actually a comet called C2019Y4, and it's Atlas, and it's 5 times as big as Jupiter.
Right.
5 times. That's why you're going to see it close to the mid.
It's not Nibiru, is it?
No. Mid-April, you're going to see it even closer. It's going to be closest to us. But it's about 74 million light years, so it shouldn't hit us, really. Right. So we shouldn't have really an issue. We're just going to see that bright star thing.
Fire.
Yeah.
Sweet.
It's right next to Mars right now. It's near Mars's orbit.
It was looking pretty cool last night. I noticed out the window. It was like one of those blood moons, but like a half moon, so really big, but like quite orange as well. It was really, really nice. I love a bit.
There's a lot of that lately.
Love a bit of moon action.
Over the last, I don't know, about 10 years, you've got a lot of this, red, blue moon, fucking purple, ginger, all different.
LED technology now. How they've worked out that you can change the colour of your bulb.
Yeah.
It's a limit.
Changing it all over the place.
Do you remember when the moon used to be just one colour? Tripping, mate. It's always been multicoloured and changed colour.
Black and white, man.
Depending on its mood.
With that big red stripe across it.
Have you got any more news?
I have. I've got news that, worryingly, well, America's got a little bit more of a worry. Because over the last couple of weeks, last week, all over America, there's been 650 earthquakes.
Really?
Yeah, realistic.
We've been talking about Yellowstone Park. I think that's a bit of a worry as well, because obviously if that happens, then
then the world's got a big problem.
Everything's fucked.
It seems to be all coming to
brighten your day here at NASA. Try and fucking make it a bit more tolerable. But so earthquakes, man. What's the skinny on the earthquakes? Are they saying?
6.2 miles in depth, so it's quite deep. Where and the magnitude of 4.0.
Ground rumbling shizzle.
Media.
Right.
But there's been loads of it. Over 650.
Keep an eye on that, because obviously it's we don't need more of that stuff going on. I've got some NASA podcast updates.
Ooh.
Hey. Yeah. Firstly, this episode is sponsored by Audible. Get yourself over. If you're in quarantine, you can get yourself a free audio book by checking out the link in the description, or you can just do normal shopping on Amazon. It will arrive eventually. Eventually. But do your normal shopping, and because we're affiliates, it helps us out. So do that. That's amazing. And plus, you get a free 30 days on Audible and a free Audible audio book.
So get on there, order the audio book, then sign yourself off.
Exactly.
Everyone's a winner, baby.
Trial, and then just sack it off, man. That's what I did. Hey, no.
We'll be happy with that.
Yeah, we'll be happy. Yeah, so do that. We'll be able to continue the show with the fucking fantastic Skype and computer amazing technology that is obviously around at the minute. And we'll be recording remotely. But there's a few advantages that we can do because of this. We can put out a video cast via YouTube, which is what you're seeing now. Obviously, rather than just the audio on YouTube. Plus, we're going to be putting out a new show starting next week, Never a Straight Answer Lockdown, which is going to be a bit more lighthearted, bit fun. Each week we're going to try and get a guest on, talk about your lockdown experience, and hopefully a bit of fun. So get over to YouTube and subscribe, because that's not going to be on our podcast feed. It's literally going to just be on the YouTube channel for that one. But obviously you'll still get your regular Never a Straight Answer podcast every week. wherever you get your podcast fix.
Yeah.
Retractions. We got a retraction this week for last week. So the guy who does our graphics needs to be shot because he remember when we were talking about crows and birds and whatnot?
Yeah.
And corvids are crows.
Yeah.
Well, for some reason that stuck in that guy's head, and he ended up putting an R in COVID-19 on the graphic.
Yes, he did.
He did indeed. What a twat. So yeah.
What a knob jockey.
Jockey. Yeah. He had fucking crows on the mind, birdies.
But at least he come back and went like, I'd sorted it out.
He owned up. That's what he did.
Yeah. He didn't sneak off and go, fuck it.
He had a friend, is what he did.
He did.
He had a friend it was his fault. Podcast will continue as normal, so just stay tuned. If you want to help us out more so than ever, get over to Patreon. And we've added a few new tiers there, so you've got a bit more choice in your kind of subscription, whatever you want to throw in. We're still available on Spotify, iTunes, iHeartRadio, Castbox, Anchor FM, everywhere you get your podcast fix. Subscribe over on YouTube, like I say, because we've got a new weekly show starting on there and just exclusive to YouTube. Plus, if you want to get in touch with us, you can get over to the website and contact us at neverstraightanswer@gmail.co.uk, or is it .com? One of the two. Or the best way is to go to the website at neverstraightanswer.com and .co.uk, sorry, and just contact us from that. And there you go. I've lost my shit. I don't know what I'm doing.
You lost your shit.
Yeah, there you go. We got some shout outs.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I got some major shout outs.
Steve from Stockport. Yeah, I see you, son.
Stockport. Well, firstly, a big shout out to them NHS doctors, nurses, frontline workers, everybody out there doing their bit to keep us all safe. We give a big round of applause to you guys. That goes out to supermarket workers, people putting themselves just in front of the population of the UK, basically, and dealing with it. And not moaning and just getting on with it like fucking salt of the earth.
Although they should be moaning like fuck.
Getting fucking right, they should. But want a big shout out. Also, big shout out to all the weed dealers still operating out there.
Yeah.
Consider you both. I consider you frontline workers as well. You need your props. Big respect. Putting yourselves at risk every day. Also, our Patreons. If you want to become a patron and get a weekly shout out, all you need to do is get over to Patreon and sign up there. So shout out to Swoosh, Big Swoosh, thanks for listening. Jay, can't wait to see you back in the bunker. Dunk and Brooke, thank you for all your support. Also want to give a big shout out to our featured podcast this week, which is the Night Geist podcast. You can get them on YouTube and everywhere else.
Yes.
Much love for them. Big shout out to the lovely Jessie G. And the amazing Jen over at the Not So Minnesota Nice. Always get that fucking tongue twisted.
Go over there and listen.
Shout out to King of the Sofa, Mr. Gareth.
Yes,
Gareth. Thanks for listening. And he had actually an interesting conspiracy. Come to think of it, he sent me. Oh, my phone's died. 1 minute. Let me get it up because it's
you're doing well there, son.
Yeah, he's a good bloke. He's Gareth. And like I say, he's king of the sofa at the minute. But his missus is a frontline worker, I think. So big respect.
Yes.
To you guys.
Much love.
So major COVID conspiracy, he says. But this one's got a lot of holes in it. So, but basically, is this a case of that it could have just been done as an emergency? He's just passed this emergency law so he can stay in power.
Well, he's got power for 2 years now. And did you know?
Because I said this about Boris, about being kind of like, well, you're like a wartime president now, aren't you?
Well, yeah, technically.
You're going down in history as the guy who fucking even got it himself and came out the other side. You know what I mean? Like,
you have less rights you have right now than you had this time last year.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, definitely fact. Yeah, 100% fact. Or a big shout out to Mr. Crabtree.
Yes, Mr. Crabtree.
You still
loving the geezer.
Not heard from you for a while.
Yeah, man.
Big shout out to Liz Reader.
Yes.
Keeping it real, doing a bit. She's been really nice, dead supportive about kind of saying if we needed to use her website forum and stuff, and just be very much for the podcast. Big shout out to Brian for our what's fucked up where you're from.
Yes, Brian.
This week, nice one for getting in touch. I don't know why we didn't get your email, but for some reason we never got it. You got an email off you.
Send it to someone else.
Send us an email at neverstraightanswer@gmail.com and we will get today. Susie and Chris, big shout out to you guys for all the support, and I will kick your ass on Scrabble yet again tomorrow. Big shout out to Gruber.
Gruber,
because Gruber's been listening.
I've been getting pictures of his pints.
Yeah, he sends me pictures of all sorts. He sends me pictures of what he's watching on the telly and everything.
Or what he's gonna watch.
Yeah, guys.
Or his dinner.
His
dinner. Yeah, he always shows you his dinner.
Do you know what it's like?
He's eating well.
Like, for fuck's sake. Big shout out to Agent Coulson, who might be joining us on the show at some point.
Hopefully.
Big shout out to the Deep in History podcast, Tennish podcast. Big shout out to Plums and John, whose birthday it was this week. So happy birthday,
John.
Also, his anniversary today. John's my stepdad, and he's obviously married to my mother. And it's her birthday at the end of the week as well.
Happy birthday.
A lot going on this week.
Birthdays all around.
So, yeah, happy anniversary for today. Happy birthday for both of you. So well done. I always get this wrong, right, this name, because they're called WTF AECOM. Yeah. Now, they said it was something like an old Nintendo. Yeah. Like some AECOM, or I can't, am I saying it? I don't know. Fuck me. But their question anyway to us, they're a gaming podcast. Do you know what? I'm probably going to come across as a right dumbass, because it's dead easy to say, but they've told me once, so I do apologise, lads. But the spell WTF AMICOM, yeah, right. And they got a question for us. Do you think the guy from Doom, the Doom guy, has health insurance?
Well, I think he needs it. If he hasn't, I think he needs it.
Yeah, he should definitely get it. And I'm not sure if health insurance is kind of like, could I go out and get health insurance today? I'm not sure. Like, health insurance companies would be a bit like, not sure.
Oh yeah, the corona would be out of it. Yeah.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
That'd be written out.
What do you mean it'll be written out?
It'll be written out. You'll be probably expected to go in there and go, oh, right, well, I'll buy it for a couple £100. And I'll have corona in there, and they turn around and go, well, actually, it's a couple of £100,000. And we put corona in there.
Yeah, totally. And you won't get paid out with loopholes. Yeah.
Insurances.
I don't know. In terms of health insurance, the Doom guy needs it. I'm not sure he's got it. But if he's hired as a mercenary, then you think he'd probably have health insurance provided by the company he works for, i.e. the government or organisation. So I think, he should have health insurance if he's not an independent sort of contract worker. Maybe.
Might be self-employed.
Might be freelance, right? Now, if he's a freelance alien gun killer, then maybe he doesn't, but that's something he should definitely consider, But if he's working for the man, then definitely health insurance should be covered by his employment.
Or there'd be some kind of insurance.
I think that answers your question.
Public liability insurance.
Matter of words.
About £57 for a couple of million. Bam.
On it. Yeah, well, he's involved in some heavy duty gunplay on a daily basis. It's one of them, innit?
Everyone has a dangerous day.
Like I say, if you enjoyed the show, leave us a rating or a review on iTunes. We've not had a review for a while. That'd make our day. Cheer me up.
Yeah.
Say some nice things.
He needs cheering up.
I do.
He's miserable. Look at him. He's fucking miserable. Dodgy.
Anyway. So basically you can get over to iTunes, leave us a review, subscribe wherever you you listen to your podcasts. We're available on every platform. Obviously, say subscribe to YouTube so you can see our lockdown episodes coming up. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Hope you've enjoyed the show, and put up with our radio faces for another week, and even just listening in, because obviously, if you want to see us, if you're listening via podcast and you want to
turn that off, what you're listening to, and go to YouTube,
and you'll see us in live, not
all
live,
in all our glory,
pre-recorded, but you'll see no edits.
No.
Anyway, right. That's it. We'll see you next week, and we'll see you for another episode of Never a Straight Answer. I've been Gaz.
I've been Taylor.
We'll see you next time.
Much love. Out.
Bye.